Hello guys. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a stock stream. I hope you guys are excited. I have so much that I really want to make sure we cover today. So without further ado, let's jump right into our first symbol. Again, for those of you who are new here, my name's Ethan. Make sure to check out my website, ethanwrenn.com. From there you can find links to all my various socials. We are currently live on YouTube, Twitch, and the front page of my website. So wherever you may be watching this at, make sure to follow or subscribe if you'd like to get notified when we go live next. So what is the first symbol we're going to be covering today? Well, IWN. This is an ETF titled iShares Russell 2000 Value ETF. So this is brought to us by iShares or BlackRock, and it is very comparable to the Russell 2000, symbol IWM, one we've covered previously in the past. The main difference between this one and the IWM or the standard Russell 2000 would be this one focuses on value companies. Typically, when you look at value companies, you're thinking of maybe less volatile companies, but companies that maybe offer a higher dividend in exchange for that. There's also a variant of the Russell 2000 that represents a growth basket of companies, and that particular ETF offers a very low, it might even offer zero dividend. The reason you would probably opt for a growth ETF over maybe a standard Russell 2000 would be you'd expect the growth ETF to produce a higher percentage return over time, while the value ETF is maybe more consistent and again offers that higher dividend. So since we're talking so much about dividends, IWM currently offers a dividend of 2.34%, which is actually outstanding for most ETFs. You have QQQ, I think, offers like a 0.6. You have DIA, the Dow Jones, which is probably at like a 1.2, 1.3. So 2.3 is very much on the top end of that dividend yielding ETF. As you can see on my screen, there's clearly an uptrending price channel here. With your support represented by the green line and then your resistance up here, top yellow line. Not only that, what else is it that we like about IWN? Well, something we cover in almost all the videos we do on this channel would be the RSI. If you look down here at the bottom, when the RSI is oversold or potentially a good value, it's close to this green line, this bottom end, which would represent the 30. When it's potentially overbought or potentially not a good value, it'd be closer to this red line up at the top, which would be the 30. And as you can see, when this ETF's RSI is as low as it is currently, it tends to find support and bounce and proceed to run, where when it's high in the sky, getting rejected by the 70, it's potentially a good time to opt out, as it could result in a sell-off in the near future. Let's quickly go through and mark every time that the RSI has been as low as it is currently. Make sure we are always keeping in mind our time frames. If you come up here right next to the symbol, you see this W. This means every candle on this chart represents 1 week of time. It's important to keep in mind your time frame so you understand how long it might take for some of these patterns to play out. Monday, March 16th, 2020, the RSI bottomed out at that 30, and then a symbol IWM proceeded to run as much as 144%. In February 8th, 2016, you saw the RSI bottom out, touching that bottom end 30, and then IWN proceeded to run as much as 68.67%. And then way back here on September 26th of 2011, you saw the RSI bottom out, and symbol IWN proceeded to run as much as 86.2%. And you could even go back further here and point out February 17th, 2009, RSI bottomed out. IWN proceeded to find support and run as much as 136%. So just based on our quick historical analysis, that would lead us to believe that symbol IWM is currently primed for another run in the near future. right now we are currently projecting as much as a 62.37% gain from its current price point. And it's important to keep in mind, right, that we just covered every time that the RSI has gone through these reoccurring cycles, right? And not only that, but every time that the RSI comes down and dips to the bottom end, the oversold point, we're seeing an interaction between the weekly 180 moving average. Now, just like on the Russell 2000, the non-value variant of this ETF, this symbol often does dip below this weekly 180 moving average as it is currently, but it never stays below this weekly 180 moving average often. As you can see here, it comes down, dips just below, touches that trend support, right? And then comes right back up and proceeds to run. Another example here, comes down, touches the trend support. It is slightly below that weekly 180 moving average, but then proceeds to run. And that is exactly what we are expecting to happen moving forward. Now, what does the symbol IWM's holdings consist of? Well, on my other monitor here, I've brought up the top 10 holdings of symbol IWN. As you can see here, symbol IWN. Top 10 holdings. We have symbol STAG for Stag Industries. We have Agree Realty Corp. We have Selective Insurance Group. We have RBC Bearings Inc. We have Light and Wonder Inc. Ordinary shares. We have South State Corp. We have Terreno Realty Corp. We have Civitas Resources Inc. Ordinary shares. Academia Sports and Outdoors Inc. Ordinary shares. And we have Ryman Hospitality Property Inc. Okay, we made it through. But as you can see, those are some of the top 10 holdings of the iShares Russell 2000 Value ETF. I quite like this particular ETF because, again, it offers such a solid dividend. It tends to move in tandem with the broad market index, being the Russell 2000, which is often referred to one of the staple major market indexes here in the United States, right? On top of that, small cap can potentially produce really great results over long periods of time. For example, small cap has historically outperformed large cap based indices over long stretches of time. I believe over the past 100 years, if you would have invested $1 into, let's say, a large cap ETF, that would have potentially turned into as much as $10,000 for every $1, right? But if you put that same dollar into a small cap index, such as the Russell 2000, that $1 over that same period of time would have been as much as $40,000. So 4 times the amount of growth over a 100-year span. Something to keep in mind. Just some historical data versus small cap versus large cap. Something to keep in mind. That being said, I believe that's everything I want to cover with the IWN ETF, the Russell 2000 Value, and we're going to be moving into our next symbol. So if you just give me one moment and we will move into that symbol.